Hello and welcome to another TechHub.training weekly challenge. This challenge deals with comparing crypto prices and the S&P 500 prices and the rise and fall of those prices. This challenge is in Python, so I'll pull up my solution file here. And basically, from the prompt, we know that the goal of this challenge is to compare the first 2 months of 2023's data, so January and February, the data about the change of crypto prices and the change of S&P 500 prices. So we know we want to make a dual axis chart line chart to show the differences in this data. So the data has been provided to us in some Excel files. So first things first, what we're going to do is read those Excel files in with pandas, with Python pandas. So it's pretty simple what I did here, and this cell up here is just a bunch of importing the basics, and I just kind of ignoring certain warnings and just basically some default settings here that I've created. But anyway, so first things first, if we go to this cell right here, we're going to read in the Excel data into data frames. So data frame DF is the Bitcoin price data, and DF1 is my S&P 500 price data. So if we read those in, we'll run it just to double check here. Bitcoin data, we've got the date, the opening price, the high, the low, the close, the volume, and the market cap. So the prompt wasn't too specific about what actual data we're going to use here in our comparison, but we'll just be thinking about what part of this data do we need to use to compare just basically the price day to day over the 2 months. And if you'll notice, the S&P 500 data is a little bit shorter than the Bitcoin data. Why is that? Well, S&P 500 is listed on a stock exchange, and they close on the weekends and holidays. So it's not open every day for trading, while Bitcoin is open 24/7. Okay, so we got the data written into data frames, DF and DF1. Now we want to create a graph to compare the rise and fall of Bitcoin prices versus S&P 500 prices over the past 2 months, January and February 2023. So create our figure, which is plt.figure. I named that fig. I'm going to create two axes. Axis 1 is fig.add subplot. Axis 2, we're just going to basically duplicate that, but flip it on the other side. And the code to do that is plt.twinx. And plt is this right here, matplotlib.pilot, import as plt. Good to know there. Okay, so the first plot, so this left axis right here, we're going to, the first, I guess, argument here is the x-axis, and the second argument here is the y-axis. So x-axis, I'm going to put the date on the bottom here, and then the y-axis, I'm going to put the high. So this is, as you can see, I'm referencing the data frame, then referencing the column, and that's basically like referencing a list. So we're going to reference this high, and that's just the high price of the day. Honestly, any of these columns, high, low, or close, would be appropriate here. Okay. And then I named it color, labeled it. Gonna format that, so using the axis1.tickparams, I can reference the y-axis, so I can change these numbers right here to blue to reference them with my blue line, so you know which is talking about what. Give it a label, give it a color. Yeah, so pretty simple there. And then can do the same thing to the second axis. Axis 2.plot date, high, color equals red, not blue, because we want to differentiate it. Again, add some parameters to that. Up here, we only needed to set the parameters to the x-axis once, and I did that on the first axis, even though both axes do have a data in the x-axis. Okay, so then this is a good to know too. I wanted to format these to not show the full date. I just wanted them to show, January 1st, January 8th, 15th, etc., etc. And if you use this code matplotlib.dates, date formatter, and this is going to be the month code and the day code to get it into that format. Gave that a name of date underscore format, and then set the major formatter to date format. So the x-axis of axis 1 right here is going to have the format of this dates. And you can ignore this here. We don't. That's what I was doing before, but this is a much more efficient and effective code to set the dates appropriately. Give it a title and then show the plot. So let's run it. Perfect. Looks good. So add your comments and your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know what you think we can do with this data. What's interesting about this data, and what's interesting about Python pandas and Matplotlib and some other cool things you can do with it. All right, guys. Until next time.